Hello, everyone. Portable, I see you. Let me see if I can bring Portable. Even though it's another thing that we wanted to talk about, which we're going to talk because today. How are you all doing? Someone said, I need miracles. Oh, by the time I'm done teaching you today, you would understand why you don't need miracles. Zazu. Somebody say, Shiloh, don't start. The one where you do last year, how you take Nigeria, don't they do Shiloh? Now don't they do Shilohs last year? Eh? This life goes sweet, oh. Zazu. Why did you say we don't need miracles? And I'm going to explain this clearly today. We don't need miracles. Zazu. Oh yeah, join, make we greet you, make we feel move, go. Zazu. Let me see if I can bring him. If I can't bring him, then we'll just move. Somebody said this man are nonsense, sha. Well, them they feel you. My brother Okponuni, that's the reason why you see, okay, by the time I'm done today, give me a chance. By the time I'm done today, if what I'm saying you believe is still nonsense, unfollow me. Somebody say miracle they happen for Shiloh. Go and raise Mohbad. Miracle where we. If there anybody will raise Mohbad, I don't talk am. Any church, any pastor will raise Mohbad, I go join their church, I close my own. Finish. Any church will raise Mohbad, I close my church, I begin to go that church. I go they sweep their floor. Mr. Ibu leg with the cut. Any church where you restore them, I will close my church and start attending their church. Now, can you allow me to preach? Thank you very much. Let me start with a prayer. Heavenly Father, I thank you for giving us the opportunity to gather in your name. I ask for your wisdom, your understanding. I ask for an abundance of knowledge as promised in Matthew chapter 13, verse 12. And I ask for your direction, O Lord. In Yahushua's name I pray. Amen. So I got the motivation to preach this message from a very, very funny place. IPNX, my data providers. I woke up this morning. I intended to come live in the morning with my preaching session, then have our usual gist in the afternoon, evening. IPNX has not worked the whole day. They now send me message. Let me read you the message IPNX sent me. They sent this message by email. They said, "Dear valued customer, we understand that the recent service downtime has been an inconvenience to you. You have no idea, I cannot walk. And we deeply regret any inconvenience that has caused. Be rest assured, our engineering team is working diligently to rectify the situation and restore service as swiftly as possible. We appreciate your patience and understanding. Best regards, IPNX Limited." Then there was another message from them, which I'm going to read to you. "Dear esteemed customer, we want to update you on the service disruption being experienced. Please be assured that all our efforts are geared towards service restoration. The expected time of resolution is 8 a.m. on Friday, December the 8th, 2023. We will continue to provide updates as they emerge. The reason why I've not been able to work is my what is it called? Fiber optic network provider has failed. I'm pissed, I'm upset, because all my work is internet work. And somebody just sent me a text message, Daddy Freeze, I created your account. I saw the account, I checked my balance. My balance was like 20K. I said, he said he created 100K. I said, I checked the account balance, I saw only 20K. I said, what kind of... So I called the guy said, no, he did not send account, he sent data. He did not send recharge, he sent data. So I went to check my data, I did not see it. So I called Airtel. I said, Airtel, come. Somebody said they sent me 100,000 naira, and I cannot see it. They said, no, that the guy recharged 1 terabyte for you that will last you a whole year. I said, So make una help me thank the gentleman. He wants to be anonymous. Thank you very much. So now that data I want you to take manage. It's not going to be as clear as the fiber optic, but we are going to manage it. And I got the inspiration to preach this message to you from this situation. IPNX failed me, and I'm complaining, I'm angry. If I paid you money, I expect once in a while you're going to have some disruptions. Which one be one whole day of disruption? And in my anger, I thought about it. Religion is the only thing that fails consistently, and yet your faith gets deeper. I'm here. I'm not happy with IPNX. Despite the fact that their network has been good or manageable for the last few weeks, it has been a bit shaky. But it's been manageable. They fail one time, I am angry. Religion fails every day, and the more it fails, the deeper your faith gets. It's the only counterintuitive system based on repeated failures, and yet you continue to believe. Your geos predicted in 2016 that the naira was going to rise against the dollar. Today, in 2023, end of 2023 is over. The dollar is still rising against the naira. 7 years later, a total failure. But did that stop you from going to church? The reason why nobody voted for Tinubu is not because of Tinubu's failure. It's because of APC failure in the past years. Because of APC and PDP failure, that is what gave birth to Labour Party. Am I connecting with you? Your government will fail you. Sometimes they'll try to explain that, look, there's really no money. The moment your government fails you, you will never give them any excuse. But religion will fail you repeatedly, over and over again. And the more it fails you, the stronger your faith gets. That is not faith, that is foolishness. Work with me, work with me, work with me. A man prayed to God to change the weather in another country because the weather was too cold for him. And according to his narrative, God changed the weather for 4 days. Weather that sweater can solve. You guys don't get it. He said he doesn't like cold. I don't own 1% of what this gentleman owns. I don't own 1%. 1% of what this gentleman owns. Yet when I go to the UK, I stay in some of the best hotels. One of the things I insist on is heated floors in the bathroom. So, you don't like cold. There are thermal socks or thermal underwear. Jacket. I have one jacket. If I wear that jacket, I ask taste buds, I could begin to sweat inside. No matter if you like making it snow, I could begin to sweat inside the jacket. Sometimes they come out. When I was driving the Lamborghini, I had to take off the jacket because I was hot. Now, you're not coming to the UK or the US in the economy cabin of a commercial airliner so you can say it is cold. You are coming with your own top-notch private jet. You are not landing at the airport and pushing your trolley out to go and catch bus. A Rolls Royce is waiting to pick you up at the private. Do you know they drive motor reach the aeroplane? You don't know? Sometimes they drive motor go meet the aeroplane where the aeroplane park. Some of the privileges of flying private. So as you are coming out of the private jet, you are coming into the Rolls-Royce. And then you're not going to go to any kind of hotel room. You're going to go to a suite in the Grosvenor or the Hilton. And if you want to turn the room to a microwave oven, you will just roll the thing to 30. Everywhere go begin boil. Cold that you can solve, you ask your God to solve it. But then the dollar that you cannot solve, where we truly need God's intervention. Someone say Rolls-Royce. Rolls-Royce, now so that they call it Rolls-Royce. Cold that you can solve by yourself. It is already even solved for you. You have the best private jet. You land in the easiest part of the airport. A car picks you up from the door of the aeroplane, drives you straight to the best hotel in town, and you are kept in the best room in the best hotel in town. You already have. Science has solved the cold problem. Why are you calling God? Science has provided you a heated Rolls-Royce. Science has provided you with a heated room in the hotel. Science has provided you with thermal underwear. Science has provided you with sweater, scarf for your neck. Why are you calling God to solve what you've already solved? And then God worked his miracles. And then when you truly need God, like somebody close to you loses their life, and then God doesn't show up. You make a declaration as the Son of God saying the Naira will rise against the dollar, and the Naira doesn't rise. God doesn't hear that, but God decides to hear what a sweater will solve. What the heat vent in the Rolls-Royce will solve. That's the one that God is now solving. It is worrisome. The real problems in Nigeria. Your prayers and your miracles have solved none. Over 20 famous people that you and I know have lost their lives in the last 2 years. Natural Gambia, how are you doing, my sister? Ebire, I see you. Is that Remi too? Remi sister Mimorie. Someone said, Daddy Freeze, no disrespect, but I'm talking jazz. You see, to you, with the IQ of a day-old fowl, how will I not be talking jazz? I can't speak to you. You have the intellectual capacity of half of an earthworm. You are so dumb that you will go to buy an iPad in the eye doctor's office. In fact, you are so dumb that you will go to the dentist to connect your Bluetooth. And you are coming here and telling me that I'm talking jazz. Orieti daru. Work with me, the rest of you that have decided that sense will not be what will worry you. What God can solve, what you can solve for yourself, you call on God. But then, God did not solve what you really need Him to solve. You make a declaration that the Naira is going to rise, and for 7 straight years the Naira fell. 7 straight years the Naira has fallen despite your declaration. How does God solve for you what you can solve? How did we create this mediocrity and name it God? No, I need you to work with me today. Religion is the only thing that consistently fails you, and the more it fails you, the deeper your belief in this failed system is. Work with me. Some of you, your husband cheated on you, marriage end. Your husband failed you in marriage, and the marriage ended. But consistently, you have watched your pastor's prophecies turn to lies. A pastor got up and said COVID-19 is caused by 5G. His church is still full. His church is still full today. If a politician makes as much as one slip, you will cancel him. Naira Marley, they say bullied Mohbad. The whole country cancel Naira Marley. Why don't you believe Naira Marley is a work in progress the way you believe Selman is a work in progress? He's saying heal. Person we don't buy. Say none of them rise. And instead of make you question in doctrine, you believe him even more. That belief you give to that man of God, why didn't you give it to Naira Marley? I'm asking you, why didn't you give it to Naira Marley? Why don't you allow Tinubu to walk? Your men of God consistently fail you year in, year out. And the more they fail, the more their churches are filled. You don't give your politicians even half a chance. Any small thing like this, you don't like this person, you don't like this person. Tinubu, from the day he entered the office till today, one backlash or the other. One backlash or the other. I'm not saying he's good. I'm saying extend him the same courtesy you extend to your pastors and their gods that don't work. The courtesy you give your pastor and his God that cannot raise Mohbad, give it to Tinubu. If you give 10% of it to Tinubu, Nigeria will be better. At least we will not be bashing our president outside. Your president, at least in politics now, everything is now open. If they buy gas cylinder inside presidential house, you will see they will print it out. The whole world will come on Twitter, they will bash. Someone said because Tinubu didn't win the election. Okay. Mention one thing your pastors have done that are actually right? They collect free money from the people, which most of them don't pay taxes on. How did they get to where where they are? How? How many of them can sit with me one-on-one? Let's do theology debate. Work with me, work with me, work with me, people. Someone say, how do you expect to sit at home and expect miracles? I don't know. Because even if you go out, you don't get the miracles either. There are no miracles anywhere. And I got this revelation for the true children of God. In 2023, the reason why the Western world is migrating away from religion is because they are not wowed by miracles, they are wowed by science. Many of the things that you needed religion to cure and miracles to cure, science don't cure all. People have been brought back from the dead. If somebody dies in the last 3 minutes, what's a defibrillator? A paddle that shocks you back to life. 500 years ago, that person would have died. Science has gotten to a place where it can bring people back to life if they passed away within the last 1 or 2 minutes. Somebody say, Tinubu them, they use billions, they buy private yacht, use billions, furnish office. They're all very heartless. No. The yacht, na Navy yacht, no be Tinubu go use them. And when they were explaining it to you, why didn't you believe? The same way you will give your pastor and his God that has repeatedly failed. No, your pastor and his God have a 0 success rate, not a 1/10 or 1/100. Not even a 0 point. They have a consistent 0 rating. Let me tell you, the Pentecostal movement is a prosperity movement. Where is the prosperity? Where is the prosperity? Let's start with that. Pentecostal preachers are prosperity preachers. I beg you in God's name, where's the prosperity? Where's the prosperity? 99% of Nigerians are living in poverty. So where's the prosperity? We know that their miracles don't work. Forget anything that they are tricking you to believe. Let me tell you, if you bring really sick people, they cannot cure them. We know. We know. But you see, the church is not only supposed to cure and heal and bring money. The church is also supposed to provide a haven for righteousness. The church is supposed to build a righteous body. 50% of Nigeria's population is Christian. Yet our married women are some of the most promiscuous in the entire world. Several surveys have revealed this. Is it that we are number 1 in the world when it comes to promiscuity, or we are number 2? We know they pass top 5 ever. Verify this. So, The church cannot even provide morality. The Nigerian Christian is not more morally upright than a Chinese atheist or a Japanese Shintoist or an Indian Hinduist or Buddhist. We are not even more righteous. We are more sinful than the atheist and the agnostic and the pagans, statistically. So, our church system has not made us richer, has not made us holier, has not performed any visible or logical miracles. It's a constant failure day in, day out. Yet every day, more and more people believe. In 2020, COVID-19 happened to the world. And experts came out and said, use sanitizer, wear mask. Nobody answered them. Shut up, shut up. Hey. People who have never been into a chemistry class before were arguing with pharmacists. People who have never been into biology class all their life, now art they read, literature and English language, were arguing with medical doctors, with microbiologists, with virologists. People who have never seen a petri dish in their lives were countering PhD holders in the fields of medicine. Yet a pastor will climb on a pulpit and speak utter buffoonery, and you will say amen. No questions asked. Amen. Simple. I have nothing against Selman. I raise my questions. I'm like, how can you say you tried to raise somebody and you failed? And then people, you now market that as a growth in the faith. If you buy motor and you match the brake and the brake fail, you no go sue the company, car company. Why don't you believe that they are also growing in their own faith? And half of the people that attacked me, that he freeze, don't speak about this man of God. Don't speak about, are you a man of devil? Are you a man of devil? You see, let me tell you this. In today's world, the reason why the West is diverting away from religion, let me tell you something. Much of Europe has discarded Christianity. Last year, it was announced that Christianity has become a minority religion in the UK. Meanwhile, it was the religion of the state. Now it's a minority religion in the UK. Churches are being turned to nightclubs across Europe. And my question is why? Because nobody in 2023 is going to believe that you're going to raise someone from the pie when Elon Musk is going to Mars. You are still doing the things people were doing 2,000 years ago to catch who? Someone said Islam is a bigger religion in Europe than Christianity. You know why? Because Islam breeds family values. I have my own disagreement with a lot of their doctrines. But you see, at the end of the day, it's always going to be successful because it breeds family. It breeds service to one another. Islam breeds love. No Muslim will sell you the religion of Islam using miracle. They will sell it to you in a way you can understand it and in a way you can utilize it. Christianity is sold with miracles. What God cannot do does not exist. You see, in 2023, the world has advanced to the point. I was talking to Debbie yesterday. Debbie was live with me yesterday. Someone said Islam brings love. Oh, absolutely. Forget about the sprinkle of terrorists that are among them. True people who practice Islam are filled with love. Ask anybody. 90% of Muslims are filled with love. 90%. That one that you are seeing that they are scattering place up and down, it not reach 10%. It not reach 10%. And out of the 10%, 8% they fight for their rights. 2% are in the wicked. Someone says, do we say the NSPPD, NSPDP, what do you call it, testimonies are all lies? I am saying, in your NSPPD, raise Mohbad. It's as simple as that. I will not listen to the testimony of somebody who is an illiterate, somebody who does not know what medicine is, or somebody who thinks. You see, listen, Nigerians are raised to be spiritual. Everything in their life is spiritual. So when something happens that they don't understand, it is spirituality. That is why I say, we all knew Lazarus. We knew his sister, Mary and Martha. We all knew blind Bartimaeus, the son of Thaddeus. We all knew the woman with the issue of blood. We knew Darius, the Pharisee. We don't know these people. You people are healing and raising and giving testimony. Give us testimony of people we know. Samuel Okposo is still in the grave. Osinachi is still in the grave. Mohbad is still in the mortuary itself, in the grave. Start giving us testimonies of people. Mr. Ibu is in the hospital. Give us testimonies of people we know. Stop all these strangers coming online. We don't know them. The ones we know are not getting healed. Anybody can claim that they've been healed. I can wake up tomorrow morning and say anything. Now my story. The reason why religion lost its stronghold in Europe is because nobody is in the market shopping for miracles when they are seeing the amazing things that science is doing. They are seeing what AI is doing. They are seeing what rocket technology is doing. I was telling you the other day, I was talking to Miss Thickness, and she said she was at the airport for 2 hours because it was snowing and they had to de-ice the plane. Inside the snow, the plane still took off and flew and brought her to Nigeria. The other day, last week, was the busiest day in the US airport. 50,000 people took off, 50,000 aeroplanes took off and landed. Look at that success rate compared to a 0% for religion. Where are the successes? Where are the miracles? Where is the love? Where is the righteousness? Where? We go to church when they close. See the way people driving now. They cannot even drive out in an orderly way. When the church behind my house closes, Baba, we they go through traffic for 1 hour to get home because people that just finished praying to God are come out and exhibit the highest level of human wickedness. Someone says science is fact, religion is faith. How come fact is provable? Religion and faith have no proof except in the growing number of people who are not intellectually wise. Talk to me. Let me read some scriptures to you. Exodus chapter 7. I'm reading from verse 8. Then the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, Pharaoh will demand, show me a miracle. When he does this, say to Aaron, take your staff and throw it in front of Pharaoh, and it will become a serpent. So Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh and did what the Lord had commanded them. Aaron threw down his staff before Pharaoh and his officials, and it became a serpent. Then Pharaoh called in his own wise men and sorcerers, and these Egyptian magicians did the same thing with their magic. They threw down their staffs, which also became serpents, but then Aaron's staff, which had also become a serpent, swallowed up their staffs. That was what was wowing the world then, magic and miracles. God sent Moses with a miracle to counter magic. You cannot go with a miracle to counter science. The world is not being swayed now by miracles. Rather, it is swayed by science. The level they've gone into cloning. Elon Musk is preparing to send people to Mars. Aviation is nothing. Flying in an airplane is nothing. You cannot go. You see, Aaron and Moses went to Pharaoh armed with a miracle to counter magic. You cannot go with miracles to counter science. The world, the pharaohs of this world, are using science. Somebody say this one just they contradict himself. Big Pope for real. You should change that name to Big Retard or Big Pope for retards. Or maybe it should be a Big Hope for retards. At least you can create a community, a coven for fellow retards that look and sound like you. Oxygen, I'm going to rapture you. I have given you your final warning. Oh, see the name, Oxygen Daminster. See name where they call themselves. I know why you call yourself oxygen, because that's what's filled in your brain. Where you're supposed to have cranial matter is filled with oxygen, air. You are the perfect definition of an airhead. In fact, you are such an airhead that you made it your nickname, Oxygen. Opono Larimogi. Àníbi tí orí ẹ empty dé ó yẹ kó máa fi ṣe dóró ni, kó máa jù sínú kànga, kó máa forí ẹ pọn mi jáde. Òpònú. The rest of you that are here to have sense, can we continue with the message? You cannot go into a world where people are demonstrating feats of science and go there with a miracle. I remember when I used to watch Top Gear. You see the cars racing when they are when Jeremy Clarkson and James May are testing their cars. They will use a helicopter with a camera to fly over the mountains so they can get those shots of the cars driving through the hairpins. Today, you don't need a helicopter to do that. You have drones. Look at the latest aviation technology. I flew the Dreamliner, the Qatar Airways 787 Dreamliner. When we came out of the plane, taste buds looked at me and said, how is this plane fine like this? If you say as the aeroplane fine, if you want to darken the window, you want to make the window dark, you will just press a button, quick, the window will just turn to black. They don't get cutting again. Dreamliner, no, that cutting way they pull for aeroplane window, where you go bring another like, yeah. No need. Now button. Just press the button. Quick, it go turn black. No light will enter into the cabin. God bless Sabio. They are attacking Pastor Abel Damina for speaking the truth. Big Pope retard. Be careful, I'm going to rapture you. You see, God is a God of miracles. So when you bring magic, he'll counter it with miracles. But God is also a God of science. So when you bring science, his messengers are supposed to bring superior science. Because every day God's giving revelation to his people. But you see, to absorb the revelation of science, you need to emancipate your people from mental slavery. And if you emancipate your people from mental slavery, the dependence on religion reduces. So your pastors are not men of God, they are boys of God, because they are doing what little boys are doing, afraid to grow up to face reality. I remember when I used to be in my father's house, I could wake up in the morning and watch TV all day. I could stroll around the neighborhood and go and greet my girlfriend and see how she's doing. But today, I need to provide for my family. I need to get up and work. I have to go to bed now and rest for 2 hours so I can come back in the middle of the night and work. That's what men do. It's convenient to use the old package of religion that they've sold for 3,000 years. And then since the coming of Christ, 2,000 years, it's convenient to sell the miraculous narrative. Oh, there's going to be a miracle in your life. You're getting a miracle and you're going to China, to Canada. Was Canada built with miracle? You pray to God and God gives you a visa and you run to Canada. Meanwhile, somebody born in Canada gets it by default. That thing they used to build Canada, it is in you. But you can never find it if you're looking for miracles. Someone said, Daddy Freeze, stop criticizing men of God. I've never criticized a man of God in my life. All I see all around me are boys of God, kids of God, children of God. Pickings of God. There's no men, because a true man is like Abel Damina. He might not see it all, I might not agree with him on everything, but he's bold enough to get up and see that the current narrative is not working. Abel Damina is bold enough to question the integrity, to interrogate the integrity of what they practice. Someone said, DF, you need to know that a church is like a hospital. You people skip always excuses, excuses. Why don't you say Tinubu is like a hospital? He's trying to fix Nigeria. Which church is a hospital? A church is a hospital where no patient comes out better. 5 to 10 churches on every street in Nigeria. Please mention how people have come out better. Mention to me, brother. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. A church is like a hospital. Not everybody is responding to treatment. Baba, how can you have a church? How can, if you are the hospital and 99% of the people there are not responding to treatment, will you continue running that hospital? Always making excuses. You go to church sick, you get sicker. You don't get healed. You go there ignorant, you get more ignorant. You go there wicked, you get more wicked. Nothing gets better. Until you are ready. Until you are ready to understand that good leadership is a miracle. Medicine is a miracle. Do you know there are people walking around today with other people's hearts? Do you know there are people walking around today with other people's kidneys? Let me tell you my father's story. My father had a heart attack 2 years ago. No, last year. A year ago, about a year and a half ago. They removed arteries from his leg in this Nigeria and did a bypass for him. It's called a CABG, coronary artery bypass graft. My father is alive today because of science. They removed his heart, repaired his heart, and he's alive. I have the video. I used to have it on my phone until I changed it. You will see my father's heart pumping, beating like this. The miracle of medical science. Those of you that are traveling or have traveled, you are going to enjoy the miracle of aviation. People, do you know that you are actually flying in the air at 35,000 feet? My last trip, they were serving us champagne. So you know me. People were accusing me that I was in London living fake life. So I could give them fake life Pro Max on the aeroplane. I was sipping champagne and cocktail in the air. That's a miracle right there. Then I watched a movie with my wife and we slept off, snoring in the air. That's a miracle right there. But you cannot recognize that as a miracle if you're going around listening to the messages of boys of God. Because a man of God, just like a man in his house, uplifts his wife and uplifts his children. A true man of God uplifts his congregation. He doesn't try to make them dumber so they can stay in the cesspit they've been in all the while. And let me tell you, that's the formula for religion to fail. Go with me to Acts chapter 8. Acts chapter 8. I'm reading from verse 9. Now, for some time, a man named Simon had practiced sorcery in the city and amazed all the people of Samaria. He boasted that he was someone great, and all the people, both high and low, gave him their attention. And they exclaimed, "This man is rightly called the great power of God." In Samaria, 2,000 years ago, there was a man called Simon the sorcerer who, with his sorcery or magic, astounded the people. Please, how many people are in Canada using magic to astound people? How do they astound the Canadians or the Japanese or the Germans? It's not with magic. It is with scientific feats. With AI. Anita Melvin said, "You are just bored." Maybe, but you are as dense as an, what they call iderioti, a bottle cover. There is more content in an empty bottle cover than there is in the entire circumference of your cranial cavity. If there was a certain limit to procreation abilities, your parents would not have had you, because you are actually something the world has to contend with. If you were a chicken, I would say at least for Christmas you have some usefulness. You are useless all year round. Òpònú bí ìdérí ọtí. You come to my live and say, "I am just bored." Or is it the 521 people watching me on Instagram that are bored? But you and your parents inside the bush hunting rats. And where moloru and wokete. If not, how are you going to eat the multicolored gari that you gathered from house to house, begging with your pots and pans? How are you going to be able to eat it? Now let me end so you don't get bored. Religion is the only thing that consistently fails you and you consistently vote for it. Your politicians, just look at Buhari. Look at the way people fought for Buhari to come into power. Within 1 year, if you had asked Buhari to redo that election, nobody for answer now. Nobody. Because Buhari failed. According to the expectation of the people who never gave him a second chance in the first place, he was cancelled. Emefiele, he is still suffering for his failure till today. But yet your pastor told you that 5G caused COVID. We have all found out to be a lie, and his church is still full. Somebody said, "Daddy Freeze, leave these men of God." You know why I don't leave them? Because there are no checks and balances. They can just come and literally fart on the pulpit, and y'all will think that was a huge doctrine. I'm here to share the doctrines that will put the dogma to rest. My final message for you this evening, I'm going to come back a little bit later, and we're going to gist, is we don't need miracles to believe in God now. First John chapter 4 verse 8 says, he who does not love does not know God. Stop trying to use miracles to sell God. Try using love. Try showing that you love your neighbor as yourself. You don't need to give your neighbor money. Allow him to go instead of blocking the road and driving on both sides of the road. The reason why many of you think you need miracles is because you have never experienced love before. If you've been loved before and you've lived among love, you will know you don't need any miracle. You just need people to love one another, respect one another. And for people to respect one another, they have to love one another first. Because God is love. Speaking in tongues has brought Nigeria nothing. Nothing. Miracles of these people you are raising from the dead have brought Nigeria nothing. Nothing at all. Can we now start focusing on those things that will actually bring the body of Christ the reputation we have lost? Can we start loving one another? Can we start respecting one another? You have the right to your faith. You have the right to your belief system. But when your belief system is toxic and manipulative and it is wrong, I'm going to be here to correct it. And what we have as a body of Christ in Nigeria today is nothing but a body of crisis. Nothing makes sense from head to toe. You have rich pastors preaching about prosperity to poor citizens who are the ones feeding the pastors. Make it make sense. I'm going to come back a little later. May God keep us all. May God bless you. May God guide you. May God uplift you. May you know what it means to be a man of God as against a boy of God. And stop following these people. Stop following people who don't know their left from their right. People who have not taken time to study the Bible properly. What they've done is they've studied dogma. God bless you all. See you later when I come and we gist and we have fun. Take care and God bless you.